Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Deva Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahmam, Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. Sadashiva Samarambham, Shankaracharya Madhyamam, Asmadacharya Paryandam, Vande Guru Parampara. Sakana Vabdu, Sakana Punaktu, Sakaviryam Karavavahi, Tejasvina Vadida Mustama Vidvishavahi. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Vasudevendra Yogindram, Tattva Pradam Gurum, Mukshunam Idarthaya, Tattva Bodha Abhidhiyate. Good morning. So we are in the 14th session for the Tattva Bodha. Thanks so much for continuing to learn this one. I'm sure this will give some transformation in all of us. Even if you don't take any effort of contemplation on this, it's like a seed that goes into your heart. You know, when a seed is planted, I know all of our hearts are very fertile, because if it's not a fertile heart, we wouldn't be sitting in this class. So what sort of transformation that we need? You know, to be happy in this life, we need to acquire things, pleasures, bhogas. Therefore, we work hard, we pray to God, we seek things. But then we come to this kind of position where we want to elevate our own position. So we call it a spiritual progression. So one way this is approached is that you have to shed all your bad things. You are a sinner. Do good things. Build slowly. Develop punya. Go to different lokas. Come back. Somehow you attain the divinity progressively. That's how we've been taught. That's how we have been disciplined in life, shown the right directions. That is all very good. But once you come to Vedanta and everything is upside down. It changes the whole thing. It's for you being a human being to become a divine being or a spiritual being. Vedanta assumes, it declares, asserts that we are essentially a spiritual being, somehow entrapped in a human embodiment. Therefore, the goal of Laukika life, where you from humanity to divinity by progressive goodness and virtuous acts, leads to a destination which is exactly same as Vedanta teaches you. The other way, a rather easier way, it may look like complicated way, but easier way, that you are essentially a spiritual being, a divinity, but you do not know it. And you do not know it as reason you have laden on yourself things that are not the real you. What is easier, to shed something or to add something? Shedding is easier always. Therefore, Vedanta takes an approach of what you should give up. That's why the Vedanta, or in a way, sannyasa. Sannyasa is not actually giving away, running away from the world. Sannyasa is to giving up things which are not you. It's about nivritti marga. So that's what Tattva Bodha is taking us. So we asked the very interesting question. By the way, please be confident that our participation in this kind of classes are Jnana Yoga, Jnana Yajna. This is as good as, if not better than, going to the temple or doing pujas, everything. But this has got 3 steps, as I always told you. The first one is Shravanam, that we hear what is being told. So we get an undivided attention to this, so that we are able to say almost as good as you hear. This is what a modern education is not. All the examination, the school is basically to reproduce what you have been told, not necessarily you apply in your life. So the basic education is, Shravanam is to be able to say what is being told. Then we must take responsibility to analyze that and question that. It's called Manana. So that what we heard, what we learned is flawlessly ready for our assimilation. That means our Shraddha on the Guru before, that he's actually giving us the right knowledge, is now turned into Shraddha on what we learned. That what he has given me is the right thing. So that's a very important step. Many times, we are out of bhakti and emotion, we worship a guru, we do namaskaram to gurus, but we don't take those words. Have you seen that one? It's a very subtle difference. I can do namaskarams to Shankaracharyas, Madhvacharya, all the acharyas I do namaskarams. But somehow what they're saying, I don't act by it. The emotional bhakti, Shraddha has to translate into Shraddha on the Guru Vakya. Guru Vakya is basically Veda Vakya. That step, only you can do, only I can do, only we can do. It's called Mananam. That is taking that Guru Vakya in Shraddha and see what doubts I have. If you say I don't have any doubts, it's God's grace, but there must be lots of doubts. So you go through the Mananam process, resolve it yourself or with the gurus and with satsang, and you have a knowledge which is absolutely validated intellectually, now ready for absorption. It is like the cookbook is the guru, all the ingredients are ready, you cooked, the food is ready, now you have to eat it. That is the third step of Jnana Yoga, called Nididhyasana, meditation, contemplation, dhyana. So what we do in this Prakarana Grantha is a glimpse of the Vedanta Shastra. You go through this Shravanam in this class, and then you have, until the next class, you have beautiful days ahead. At least half an hour a day, you think about it. That's Manana. And then you relearn, rehear, and go through it. I keep on saying this point because the purpose of our wonderful Sunday morning, sun shining, not going to the shopping, not enjoying anything, you sit in the class, it has to really give you tangible benefit, transformation. You have to see that you are changing now in every class, in every preparation. Then it is beneficial. Okay. We go back to the question. So we asked the question, Atma kaha, Sthula Sukshma Karana Sarirat, Pradriktya, Panchakosha Atitare, Avastatraya Sakshi, Sachidananda Surubhaya, Sanyadishtishtisa Atma. So we've gone through this again because we are now shedding our unwanted things. Therefore, the approach is what is not Atma. Sula Sukshma Karana Sariram, we've gone through it. Panchakosham, we've gone through it. Avastatrayam, we've gone through it. Now, we have to look at the other words. Vyadriktaha, that is, I am different from the Stula Sukshma Karma Sariram. Atitaka, I transcend the Panchakosha. Sakshiki, I am the witness to the three endurable experiences that I have to go through in life. So we touched upon this. We kind of know that we are not that, but now we need to reconfirm that. So the Sishya is going to ask the question, then we need to get an answer for that. And then we have to go into the positive identity. So far we've gone through negative identity. You say it is in one of these slokas, it said, Vedas are literally shivering to explain what is Brahma, the Atma. Vedas, what we consider as the prakaranam for us, the instrument of knowledge, it is the words of the Lord. It is trembling in fear to explain the Brahma. What that means is that it is inexplicable. Therefore, how can anybody explain? How can I explain to you? No way. But it gives you another way. It says, I can't explain the supreme thing, but I can explain which is not supreme things, which are hiding those supreme things. Therefore, like when you make the ghee from the butter, all this residual part you can take a filter and with the sieve you can take it away. Like that, you can take what is not Atma. Neti, neti, it says, not this, not this. So we're going to go through not this body, not this Panchakosha, not this our Satriya, not this world. It's very negative, right? But I also consider, if you look at the neti, neti means na iti, nagiti, not this, not this. But if you split it differently, na iti, na iti, it gives a very positive meaning. What it means is, of course, Shankara doesn't say this way, but I think it also gives a very beautiful way of understanding this. Na iti na, that cannot be negated, becomes the first one. The double negative comes to the first part. That cannot be negated, iti. So you can see now, it is not a negative study, reduction. But when you start reducing things which are not the right one, negating those things, you will end up in something which is non-negotiable, non-negotiable, non-negatable. That is Satchidananda Swarupa. So this is what we need to do. So how do we negate this? How do we differentiate this? So for this, I want to give you another instrument which Vedanta offers. I mean, we should actually spend a complete session on a series of classes for knowing that method. That is called Drishya Vivekam. But I will take the essence of it here for us to progress in this class. So what we are going to do now, having gone through the definition of Sariram, Kosham, Navastas, now we need to find out how I am different from those things. Because I'm thinking, this is my body, I am sleeping, I am hurt, I am sad, I am enjoying life. Now I'm going to say, I am not all this. How am I going to do it? So we have to identify something. For example, if I say, go to the airport today, my cousin is coming, pick him up. So you say, look, I haven't seen him, I don't know him. Then I tell you, he's 6 foot tall, slight gray hair, beard, go and find him. Oh, by the way, he's carrying a Samsonite suitcase. So you go armed with this kind of terms of reference, right? And you go to the airport, you weed out everybody. Oh, not this, not this, not this, not this. So your references, the keywords, the terms, you have not seen those terms in practice, but you know what they are generally. So same way, we are going to do, what is given? We are given Atma Swarupa Lakshanam. What is Atma Swarupa Lakshanam? Satchidananda Swarupa. Therefore, the Sach Sit Anandam. 6 foot tall, beard, Samsonite suitcase. So I got this one now. But I want to understand what it is. Because you know what is a Samsonite suitcase will look like, how a beard will look like. But I don't know what this Sat, Chit and Ananda is. So I am preempting the question. I think we are going to go through this in a slightly in greater detail later when the question is asked by the disciple. But a literal meaning is Sat means an eternal existence, not temporal. So if I know the literal meaning, therefore I should look for anything that is of temporal nature. Adi and Tattva. If there's something got a beginning or an end, that cannot be Sat. That cannot be Atma. That cannot be me. Eternal means it is remaining unchanged forever. Nirvikaraka. Therefore, there is no changes. There is no parinama. Parinama means changes. Parinama bhavat. There is no change in it. So if there's anything that changes, I can say it is temporal nature. That is not Sat. Therefore, that's not the person I want to pick him up. Yeah. So we're going to take that one. Very simple to understand. Remember, we do not know what is Sat means, but we now go by the quality of that statement. Chit means supreme knowledge, which means we will ignore ignorance. Ajnanatvat. If anything has ignorant part of it, you'll say no. What that would mean, if I say, look, if I say I am my house, if I say, that'll be wrong because my house is ignorant. You're not. The Ananda, the absolute bliss, which would mean anything that is sad, anything that is remorseful, sorrowful. I will remove that. So this is going by the definition of what has been given to me. But I also need to have a theological way of understanding this. For that, we go for this subject-object relationship, discriminating what is subject and what is the object. This is a very small text of 30-odd verses. I think people say it is written by Shankaracharya and also by Vidyaranya. Vidyaranya, I think it's more like a Vidyaranya style, who wrote the Panchadasi. It's in some text you'll have 27 slokas, some in 36. It is definitely worth reading it, and someday we'll get a chance to learn it together. But I'll take this first verse, as in any other Prakarana Grantha. Every verse is complete by itself. It's a beautiful verse, and it will give you the complete meaning of it. Drid means one who sees, one who perceives, one who experiences. Drishyam means that which is seen, which is experienced, which is perceived. Now, if you see me right now, you are the Drik, I am the Drishyam for you. It's very simple. It is same as the hearing sense and touching sense. Every sense you can take it, but we just take one organs of knowledge and then use it. So therefore you can say it accounts for all experiences in life. So here it is saying Rupam Drishyam Lochanam Drik Tad Drishyam Drittu Manasam. Drishya Dvityaya Sakshiki Drugyevana Tudrishyate. Okay, very simple. Rupam Drishyam Lochanam Drik. Lochanam means the eye. The whole world that we see. Many things are happening in this world. And how do we see them? We see them with our eyes. I already told you the very word loka comes from the root word. Look means to see, to perceive. So you can't really have an objective knowledge without you having your eyes seeing it. Therefore, in this context, we're going to go step by step by step. So anything that I see, my eye is a seer, and what is seen is drishyam, seen. Yeah, it's very, very simple. But what do we, insight we take from this? It is therefore telling us what is seen is different from the seer. Remember, we are taking this exercise because we need a tool for discrimination to be different from things. Therefore, the differential knowledge is given here, which is axiom proven. If you see something, what is seen is different from the seer. Eye is different from the computer I see. So this should be very clear. Just keep following this. That drishyam, even that means that I, which is seeing, is seen by my mind. Is it not? I know that my eyes is seeing, my eyes is not reading. I need a reading glass. My eyes is tearful, painful. I know my eyes. My mind is seeing my eyes. If I ask you, for example, if one of you wearing the glasses, I ask you, what are you seeing? You'll see in front of you, but you won't say your glasses. Because you see first, I'm seeing first my glass, then I'm seeing the computer. But the glass becomes so part of me. I don't even think I'm seeing the glasses. So you forget the mediating agents. So the eye becomes the mediating agent. The mind is that which sees the eye. So many things the eye see. Therefore, eye is different from the many things. Eye has got many attributes, many state of existence. That is seen by the mind. Therefore, the mind becomes the seer. Therefore, the mind is not the eye. I would never say it. The eye is I. I mean, E-Y-E-I, not the I, English letter I. Okay. Clear. Then we go Drishyadvitaya Sakshi. So that the mind is seen by what? My consciousness, the Sakshi. Because the thought, the vritti is the mind. Mind is subtle object. We already thought about it. If it is like a water, every thought is a tide on this, is a vritti. The definition of mind is chitta vritti. So when I see this computer, the light from the computer, reflected light from the computer, go through electromagnetic radiation, it is all the photons pass through, and it get computed. This model built in my mind, it is recreated. So all this spatial dimension, time, guna, everything is transferred to the photo objects into my mind. My mind create a model which builds into my brain. Therefore, the computer exists in my mind. Yoga takes one step ahead. It says mind becomes a computer. When you see something, when I know it, when you see me right now, I exist in your consciousness. If I don't exist in your consciousness, you won't see me. It came through the eye. It came through the mind. You take a mind as a light, projector light with a filter. So the consciousness becomes a seer of the mind. You know, the first one very easy to understand, very easy to accept. I see this, I see something, it is different. Mind, yeah, I can see, I can also, yeah, I got it. Mind sees my eyes. But what is seeing my mind? is something seeing the mind. We borrow this word awareness for a while. When you are aware that you are thinking a thought, catch hold of this awareness. That awareness is also a thought, but it becomes a thought to cognize, but it is coming from the light of your Chaitanya. A little bit difficult to understand, but let me give you another example. You know, when you see this rishis or who meditate, they do this beat, right? They do this beat. They do Ram, Ram, Ram. They do that one there, which is the counter. It's a good one. It's also there another very, everything has got an insight into this. Each bead is a thought. I already told you, thoughts occur through samskaras. You don't think a thought. Thought comes in, then you think you are thinking. That's the reason why I can't tell you what I'll be thinking in 10 minutes after. I can't tell you what you'll be thinking. You can't tell what you'll be thinking tomorrow. You don't know. It'll come. So you can see that we are completely slave to mind. We have no mastery over it. But we can't accept that. We want freedom. Therefore, the way to master the mind is to make the mind to think what you want it to think. That's why Nama Japam is given. When I say Ram, Ram, Ram all the time, a conscious effort, it becomes a thought. Then if you are a Rama Bhajan or whatever, Shiva Bhajan, whatever you do, if I know that Naresh is Shiva Bhakta, he's doing Shiva Bhajan all the time, I can say, yeah, he'll be thinking about Shiva. You see how easily you transform that you are able to say what you'll be thinking because you know your thought. So it is, therefore, mind is an object. It is seen, is manipulated, it's all done. So this light that comes in, so we need to understand a little bit more deeper into this. We will see this. So the eyes, the mind, the consciousness. So you can see also take away from the Jagat, the Sthula Sarira, Sukshma Sarira, because the Golakam, what you see, the picture is a Golakam, which is the place of manifestation of the Jnanendriyam. The Jnanendriyam takes you to the mind. Mind takes the Jnanendriya's feedback, it computes the model, projects it. All this is doing because it has got the light, the power to think. The power to think comes from the consciousness. We took a little proof of it when the mind is on deep sleep. That means it becomes inert. The light is not there. So we apply the first law. The first law is if I can see something, it is not me. Therefore, definitely I am not the car, the house, not even my hand, not even my mind. Upanishad says, Stotritya Sotram, Manaso Manohara. It says, what is the eye of the eye? Stotritya Sotram, Manoyat Vachoha Vacham, Pranasya Pranaha. What is breathing? How does the breathing happen? You can think about breathing. You can maybe control it for a minute, but then it breathes. Who is the power that is putting that breathing out, in and out? So what the Upanishad says that all that is experienced, the object that you experience by seeing or smelling or sensing or hearing, all that is drishyam. All the instruments that are helping you to acquire this is drishyam. Drishyam is not the Drig. Therefore, all this is not me. So this is another discriminating tool that we carry. So we got two kinds of tools. Having a beard, Samsonite bag, 6 foot tall, Satchidanandam. And we also discriminate by this knowledge. So therefore, we generalize this one. If you are able to experience a thing, you're able to objectify anything, that cannot be the Atma. So if you're going to say Brahma, Atma, Brahma, Ishvara, Jiva, Ishvara, Aikyam, and say Atma, Brahma, Ishvara, all the same thing. So for anything that you can experience cannot be the Atma. It may be a bit of a shock to some of us because I want to get a divine experience, right? I want to feel the God. God comes to my mind and I get divine experience. Is it not a bad? It's not a good thing. Yes, it's a good thing. Anything that makes you happy is a good thing. But that is objectified. That's not the Brahma. It's not the Atma. It projects, the Maya projects something to make you happy and blissful. You know, when Uddhava is very sad about Krishna leaving, Krishna says he's going to leave the world. Uddhava is very sad about it and say, look, don't go. You know what? Bhagavad Gita is not alone the only, everything that Lord says is Gita. Bhagavad Gita is the supreme of it. But he does say beautiful things throughout Mahabharata. There's Uddhava Gita who gives to Uddhava. He also says Gita to Draupadi, to Kunti in few words. So there he says, look, everything's anityam. All appearance is gone. That's why the avatars don't stay. It is also a Maya bimbam. It is real, not in the empirical world it is real. In Paramarthika world it is yourself. The Vishwarupa Darshana we are studying is exactly that. All that we show, everything. That's the reason why, yes, we do a Shagna Brahma Upachana, we need to have this one. You know, sometimes you do the yoga, I see a light coming to me. Yeah, fine, good. Hold on to the light. It at least gives you some focus. But this kind of a thinking that I can figure out the God in some form of experience is a good stepping stone, but that's not a destination because then you get stuck. Tyagaraja has lost this Rama statue and he's grieving. His tapas become tapam. When he got it done, he realizes, look, why I have to search for it? He's everywhere. That's why when you have an embodiment as the icon of worship, at some stage you should be able to transcend that. It's a very difficult step to do, but you will realize that it is the right thing to do, and it will happen. I digress now. Okay, I'll come back to this. So we got this tool. Yeah. So I want to say this Kaivalya Upanishad also. It goes one step ahead. It says, Mayeva Sakalam Jatam, Mayi Sarvam Pradishtitam, Mayi Sarvam Layam Yati, Tadbrahma Advayam Samaham. I say this because I wanted to connect to the thing that we see. What it means. My Eva, in only me, Sakalam Jatam. Sakalam means everything. Everything is coming out from me. Mayi Sarvam Pradishtitam. Sarvam, again, everything. Pradishtitam, only in me they all residing. Mayi Sarvam Layam. In me only everything is abiding at the end. That Brahma Advayam. Advayam means non-dual thing. not differentiate, undifferentiated. That is aham. We will go on this one in detail when you finish the Srishti Vicharam. But here we can take it to Atma Vicharam as well. When you are sleeping, Mai Sarvam Layam, all that belong to me, all that I see, all my drishyam, Layam in me, everything is gone. I'm nobody. I'm not a man, woman, black, white, Brahmana, Kshatriya. No. I have disease, I have no disease in sleep. Sun, moon, no. Space, time, no. World, no. God, no. Everything is in me. Why can't I say that? This is why when you do Vedanta, when you make the statement, you become a Dhira. Dhira is one who is able to assert the statement. You know, there's a positive reinforcement. They say, yeah, I remember many years back in a management school, they teach about positive thinking. You say, I'm happy, I'm successful. You jump on this one, you become successful. But here it's the truth. Every day the whole world goes into me. When I get up, I see the world again. Sakalam Jatam. Now I exist in you. If you just ignore my out of your consciousness, I am gone from you. My Sarvam. That is what I am. That is what the Satchitananda Rupam. That is what I wanted to find out. The person arriving at the airport. So I asked the question to the teacher. So Madhiyam, no, the teacher is actually answering this. Remember, yes, we have finished Panchakosha, we finished Tri Avastha, we finished Tri Sarira. Now he is saying, Madhiyam Sariram, Madhiya Pranaha, Madhiyam Manascha, Madhiya Buddhir, Madhiyam Ajnanamiti, Svena Eva Nyayate, Tat Yata Madhiyatvena Nyatam, Kataka Kundala, Grahadikam, Swashmat Bhinnam, Tata Panchakoshatikam, Swashmabi Bhinnam, Madhiyatvena Nyatam, Atmana. Okay, it's again simple. Madhiyam Sariram. Mine is my body, is my body. Madhiyam Prana. My prana. Madhiyam Manas, my mind. Madhiyam Buddhi, my intellect. Madhiyam Ajnanam. See again, you can look at it here. Sariram is the Annamaya Kosha. My Annamaya Kosha. Madhiyam Pranamaya. Pranamaya Kosha. Madhiyam Manascha. Manomaya Kosha. Madhiyam Buddhi. My Vijnanamaya Kosha. Madhiyam Ajnanam. My Anandamaya Kosha. Iti Svena means by myself, by oneself. Eva Nyayate, known. How this is all known? My Pranamaya Kosha, my Annamaya Kosha, all these things. How it is all known? Like Yata, such as Madhiyatvena Yadam, Kataka, Kuntale, Grahadika. Madhiyatvena Yadam. So as my Kataka, my stud, my ear stud, Kundala, my bangle, my Graham, my house, Adhikam. Like this. My bangle, my omelets, my house, all this, Swasmat Bhinnam. Swasmat means from me, Bhinnam, different. So when I say my anklet, my brazier, my stand, my house, they are different from me, like that. Tada, the same way, Panchakoshadikam, all the Panchakoshas, Panchakoshadikam, that means Panchakoshas, Stula, Sushma, Sariras, Avasatriyas, everything, Swashmadi Bhinnam, Swashmat Bhinnam, different from me. So he's giving a very trivial, simple example of things that you are beyond your body. But I think I would rather say Take example of your body itself. We just know, saw my hand. See, we get confused in this. Language is not just for communication. Language constructs the world. Is a great linguist said that language is not for expression of thoughts. It is constructing the world. Every word is constructed by the words that you use. You say when you ask you, how are you? I'm excellent. I'm doing very well. The next day you say, oh, I fell down. My leg is hurting. So my leg is now hurting. So it has become my object. So anything that you say my becomes an object. So the me, the mamakaram, is always confused with belonging. But don't I have to say, I mean, just because I go to Vedanta class, if somebody asks me, is it your hand? Or don't I say it's my hand? Of course you must say. Of course you must say, I am this person. But you must know it is a necessity for this empirical world. But you know the word, the hand is not me. It is belonging to me, an instrument. You will later know you're not even belonging. It's an instrument that you use. So what happened is me, when confused in the things that you have, using it, it becomes mine. So every time you say mine, remove that what that you are putting yourself into. Why do we do this? We do this because if it is mine, which means it becomes an acquired thing. You don't say something it's yourself as acquired. Anything that you acquire is mine. Acquisition means it is not there before. It has come in between. But what the law says, if it comes in between, it will go tomorrow. So, temporal in nature. Therefore, by knowing this, that it is an object that temporal nature, you will have vairagyam on this. You will take care of it, but you don't really rule about it. So this way, here we have taken the subject-object approach, because I see those things. Take, for example, okay, it's quite easy to see the physical body. How do you do for avastatraya subject? I'm the one enjoying it. Very quickly, if you look at it, Jagrata, Swapna, and Sushupti, the three states we saw completely distinct. Is it not? You can't have two states together. Therefore, the experiencer of each state is different. You see, I am the angry man now. You call me an angry man. 4 o'clock, I'm smiling. If you call me angry man, I would say I'm not angry anymore. I'm not an angry man. I've changed. So therefore, the identity changes. Therefore, we give 3 identities just for recollection for you: Vishva, Taijasa, and Prajna. Don't forget these words. We need to use them. How do we know these 3 people come and go? So if I have a watchman and I can see who is coming and who is going. I can say, okay, all right, I must have a logbook there. This person come this time, this person go this way. So I have 3 identities coming in 3 states. I know all 3 come and go. Therefore, I should be the God, the Sakshi. Sakshi is one. What is Sakshi? Sakshi is a witness. Witness doesn't get involved. If there's a crime, of course the committer of the crime knows it very well. But if you don't call him a Sakshi because he's involved. But somebody who is unattached, even if I'm related to the guy who's committing a crime, I can't be a witness. It takes a lot of scrutiny. Unrelated observer is a Sakshi. So it gives you, therefore, that awareness in me, which is actually seeing all this thing happening. A is an observer, seer, is not seen. Everything else is seen. So if we apply the Drishya Viveka, what happened? My mind, my Jagrata Avastha, everything is object. That's why I'm able to explain this. I can write about my dreams because it's an object of experience. Come and go, comes and goes. Second thing I learned is that because I am a Sakshi, I am uninvolved, unentangled. Therefore, all these things, this is if you understand, you get enlightenment. What it means is that all that fear I have of my actions, shame, grief, or sadness, or even happiness, all that do not belong to me. Because I am the Sakshi. Immediate liberation. Such a jnana is always existing in us. It always comes and goes. You are not able to hold on to them. Nothing is new, nothing new that Vedanta teaches. It gives the most common sense, but uncommon in us because we have so many things burying it. So therefore, we can say, hereinafter, if I use the mamakaram as my stuff, that is not me. If I can have an object of experience, that object is not me, including the divine dreams. So what happened to Arjuna witnessing Parabrahman as a Vishwarupa Darshanam? Yes, it's going to give him the immense knowledge. It will be gone. When it will be gone, the Akshu is removed, the Jnana, Vicara, vision that he has given, God has given. If it's gone, it is gone. What happened then? Don't I starve for having the bliss? No, you turn inside you, it is there. You are there. Satchidananda Swarupa. Then what happened if I'm actually able to do that? Would I be the same person? Yes, for the world you look the same person, but liberated, freedom, free. Now there are a lot of differences in opinion on this. It is you cannot have this mukti, this moksha, this liberation unless you disembody from the body. Well, that's one way of doing it. But in Advaita Vedanta we say, the moment you have this knowledge established, siddha pragyam, it's quite trivial to get this knowledge. I'm saying trivial with responsibly I'm saying this. When your mind is pure and you get this knowledge and you get this, but to hold on to it and it becomes your subhava, becomes like a child. Then everything becomes a leela. Then if I know it, why I should shed my body? Why I should just if I can drink the honey in a form of bee, that's a pleasure. That if I drop into the honey and become honey, is that a pleasure? That's a Brahma Anandam. Narendra Vivekananda, when he went to Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. Now some great jnanis and siddhas can give you this, impart this knowledge by eloquence, by talking, by diksha, by looking at the eye, by touch, or like the Dakshinamurti or Ramana, just by silence as language. They can impart. So he touches him, and then Narendra becomes for a moment all-knowing experience go through. We can only hear what he says, but we can't really experience. It's like, if I eat a spoon of sugar and say it is sweet, and yeah, you have to accept that. My sweetness, you cannot taste it. So there is a level of subjectivity will come in there. Never feel ashamed to say it is subjective. People say, no, oh, you make a very subjective decision. They take it as a very derogatory remark. Objective means very lawful, legal. No, objective is working with limitation. Science is an objective science because it is limited. Scientists will say, yes, my domain is objective, physical, proving my results. But they do understand there's a subjectivity there. It becomes a hard problem in science. I mean, okay, I can't take the next step. I'll just say a few words now. We are going to use the word consciousness. So if this is not there, what am I? It's consciousness. Is it right now I'm conscious? I'm conscious that you are teaching or you're speaking to me. Is that consciousness? Is that the Satchidananda Rupa? Well, not that exactly. Veda says, because what is giving you that effulgence of sentiency is a reflective consciousness. The pradibhimbam, we saw it as a chitabhasham, chitchaya. Explain to me, you say. Like a mirror that illuminates the sunlight. That mirror light can actually burn a piece of paper. There's a lot of power to do it. You can illumine the room. I can read. So it is giving what the Chaitanyam is giving, but as a medium. But imagine this mirror now thinks, it forgets the sun. I am that consciousness. I am being aware of it. That is what is happening in the consciousness that we think is a Chidabhashan. How do we know this? This is in the Vijnanamaya Kosha, we discussed that. In Anandamaya Kosha, we discussed that. There are two parts to it. The most important part is Ajnanam, Ahankar, the identity that I am this. The better example, Vedanta course, is the iron rod. Take an iron rod and put in the flame. At some time, it becomes a flame. It can burn anything. That's how the Sukshma Sarira becomes full of light based on the Chaitanyams, the Atma. And that becomes the power to give you the ability to think, to see, to hear. It has not been an accepted phenomenon for many years in science. Maybe 100 years back, science have taken up this consciousness as a genuine problem because, first of all, I think they thought it a kind of a epistemological cogitation. Basically, it's a kind of a metaphysical aspect of it, and whereas the biomedical engineering look at it as a biological problem. But the question comes in. The hard problem means the problem that that stuns you, that you do not know what question to ask. That's kind of hard problem in science. The hard problem is, if you look at these instruments of neurons and blood and flesh and everything, how can this combination create a subjective experience? How can this lump of flesh can feel happy, feel loved, loving, grieving? That's a hard problem. Same way, when you take this one into that feeling, if you take that, we take it, the cosmic consciousness, the collective consciousness. In other words, the infinite consciousness. same problem occurs. A big hard problem. Physics had a problem. In quantum physics, they come across this one, and there is a huge argument between major scientists like Einstein and Bohr. How do you conceive this? Until the theory of relativity came, everybody thought space is fixed, time is fixed. Classical physics says it's all fixed. But Einstein, I think maybe he was a rishi in a previous Janma. I think he just completely took the Vedantic word, saying that he can basically like rolling a carpet, the space can be rolled up, can be curved. It's very relative to you. But he stopped at the point where he has to use the speed of light as a parameter to balance the equation. He regretted saying that he put a constant he doesn't even know, because you need to cross the boundary of consciousness. Where does this speed of light come from? Where is this? Why the light is the important factor? Everything is we see as a light. Light is basically, when I say light, it's basically electromagnetic radiation. All communication networks is light. Even if the copper network is a light, because the electron that passes through comes from the energy form which originates from the light. They call it, if I remember right, I think it's called gauge bosons. They are the fundamental particles which makes this, in the quantum electrodynamics, they talk about this one as a mediating agent which converts light. So they put a lot of buzzwords, they put a lot of technical words, but they are handling this problem that there is something which is unknowable. See, the whole world you can turn into two parts. What I know, what I do not know. Is it not? If I take any, I know, I think I know many things, but I know very little things. That's my world. But there are everything else which I do not know. Therefore, I can put into two parts, known part and unknown part. Isn't it? So science takes this parameter. Well, my technical pursuit, my scientific pursuit is see what is unknown. Every time I get new things, the new things are coming out from the unknown domain. Therefore, I venture into the unknown domain. The unknown that's why ignorance is bliss here. Unknown here is ignorant part. That's why when you sleep and you come out, you come with new ideas. Unknown, something coming out. But that's very essential. But we are looking something different, because if you are getting something that is coming out of the unknown, it has got a temporal nature. If you take all these things, again, I can say the same way. It has come up before. My body didn't appear before I am born. So you can put all those three parameters. Therefore, who is that knowing the known and the unknown? There must be somebody who is saying this is known, this is unknown. Of course, he is able to make the unknown to known thing. And the Maya, the world, the electromagnetic radiational spectrum of the world, which is a sign of Mahashakti, Parashakti, the Maya. See, we use it. Come catch me. So we go around. She is teasing you. She shows you a bit of this one. She shows the world is not flat. Then we know. And the stars are not light emitting bodies. They get light reflecting bodies. Space is moving. So it is revealing one after the other. It's called a revelation. Discover. Something covering, it is discovered. Nothing is created. But so that will never end. Therefore, many things science will find. Just because science is finding something new, we can't take science as complete. Science has taken a very conscious decision that its pursuit is to perfect what is known, pursue what is unknown. Very good. But we are pursuing what is that is knowing the known and the unknown. So Vedanta says it is unknowable. What is this unknowable? Unknowable is not unknown. It's simply unknowable. That means, if I translate this, it means that cannot be subject to any experimentation. It cannot be objectified. Therefore, can I say, if something cannot be objectified, that must be subject? Yes. If this says that means subject. Therefore, the unknowable is the subject. But I am the subject. Therefore, I am the unknowable. That is the search I'm doing. If it's unknowable, why am I wasting my time? It is unknowable in the sense you can't know it with an instrument of knowledge. You cannot objectify it. You can't identify with this. You can't experiment with this. You can't experience it. But you know it exists because you are that existence. It may be difficult to comprehend, but hold on to this thought. So the world is known and unknown. Unknown will keep on coming, excite us, and we'll pursue our in the material life to find out more unknowns and perfect the unknowns. But in our Atmatic life, in a spiritual life, we need to realize the unknowable. So we use the word realize. Again, it's a weakness of language. Instead of knowing it, we become a cognition, a realization of the self. So that's a journey we take. I think I took 5 minutes more. So I'll stop it here. The next week, we would complete this and then take it to the Vicharam of what is this Sat Chit Anandam that we are talking about. So I will stop here. Om Shanti, Shanti,
Shanti. Thank you, Raja. Excellent, and finished on a very high note of very high physics. So really, I'm loving it.
Yes.
You know, you have to bring the metaphysics and physics as close as possible. Wonderfully finished, of course. So now I'll
Thank you.
Request Natuji to finish.
Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya
Asato Ma Sadgamaya
Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya
Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya
Mrityorma Amardangamaya
Amardam Gamaya.
Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Om
Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Dhanyavad. Dhanyavad.
Thank you, everybody.
That was really lovely. Thank you.
Nice Vedanta today.
Very nice.
Have a